Not one, but two Big Ten, Big 12 showdowns this weekend in week one of college football. Nebraska traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bearcats. I want to start with the stakes in this game. The hype on Nebraska is pretty high. And guess what? Understandably so. People like myself have picked them to win 9 games. A lot of people hear their win total of 7.5. I love the over. I love the over. They better not overlook Cincinnati. And you know what? You've got all offseason leading up to week one. I don't suspect that they will. Matt Rhule's 2 for 2 on within the first 2 to 3 years popping at the school that he takes over. This is now year 3 that he is going into. He's got a new defensive staff. He's got a new-ish offensive coordinator in Dana Holgorsen. You've got Dylan Raiola back at quarterback. A lot of interesting storylines here. But this game happens earlier in the week before we actually hit the weekend. I'll have a reaction to it up at some point this week here on the feed. But for Nebraska, losing this game is going to invoke one specific reaction from the Big Red fan base. Here we go again. The Cornhuskers are a 6.5-point favorite. I'm not going to pick them to cover that particular number on the road week one. Cincinnati is not a program people are really expecting a whole heck of a lot from. They won 3 games in Scott Satterfield's first year, 5 games last season. They started out well, winning 4 of their first 5. They stumbled down the stretch. You know who else did that? Nebraska. Started out really well, non-conference convincing win against a Big 12 opponent at home in Colorado. Now they play Cincinnati on the road. I don't think this is going to be as easy of a game as a lot of people think it is. Cincinnati is a program that is probably in decision mode for Scott Satterfield this year. He's got to make a bowl game, I think, or else he will be on his way out. Guess what? He could do that. Did you know that Cincinnati's schedule this year does not include any of Texas Tech, Arizona State, or Kansas State? None of those teams are on Cincinnati's schedule. They've got Iowa State, they've got Utah, they've got TCU and Baylor, but no Kansas State, no Arizona State, no Texas Tech. Those are my preseason top 3 teams in the Big 12. If Cincinnati wins this game, they could start to snowball wins. The opportunity is there, is all that I am saying. But certainly Nebraska needs this win a heck of a lot more than Cincinnati does. You can't come out in year 3 with a second-year former 5-star quarterback in Dylan Raiola, who has got all the potential in the world. Remember, Nebraska started off, was it 5-1, I believe, a season ago, and ended up scraping into a bowl game, which they won at 7-6. That was a big deal. For them to get over that hump and get back to a bowl game finally, that was a really good step for the program. Now people want Nebraska to take the next step for the program this year. Winning this game at Cincinnati is not a game that I'm going to brush off, that I'm going to overlook, give no credit for if they win and say, oh, they were favored, they should have won. No, I don't think this game is going to be easy. I do like Nebraska, but I have questions about the defensive staff because the one they had prior got hired to Florida State for a reason. They were really, really good. So let's see if they are as good on that side of the ball as they have been over the last couple of cycles. But for Nebraska coming into this game, if they do win, then it's let's put the train on the tracks, full steam ahead, and Nebraska is going to push to be a college football playoff team this year. I don't think they'll get there necessarily, but they're going to push for it. The one thing that's going to define this game as much as anything is the rushing attack. Nebraska, wants to run the ball. I think in a perfect world, Dylan Raiola makes a couple of spectacular throws throughout the course of the game. You showcase his arm talent with a couple of downfield shots to keep the defense honest. But we've watched Nebraska for a couple of years now under Matt Rhule. And we've seen Matt Rhule teams before. We know they want to run the football. That's the physical brand of football that they were winning with a season ago. And the team that kind of knocked them off the rails and caused their season to wobble a bit, and still they had to fight and scrap and claw, but did get to a bowl game, it was Illinois. Played the same sort of style of ball. Nebraska's not changing just because of that one game. I don't think anyone is suggesting that. But I think that Nebraska wants to come out and run the ball, especially on the road. Even though you've got Dana Holgorsen and Dylan Raiola, who have had an offseason together to get on the same page and talk about everything that a quarterback, an offensive coordinator, and a quarterback need to. I get so excited talking about actual games now. I stumble over my words sometimes. That's not a bad thing. I mean, games actually being here is wonderful. I'm here for it. So they've had an entire offseason there, but this is game 1. I'm a guy that leans towards unders in the first week of the year, especially when you've got a new coaching staff in place. Dana Holgorsen came in later last year, and we'll see if they're firing on all cylinders right away. If Cincinnati wants to win this game, they have to stop the run. They have to. Cincinnati ran the ball really well last year, about 180 yards per contest. They gave up about 160 per game on the ground. You can't do that here. If you give up 170, 180 yards on the ground to Nebraska, the play action is going to be such a force for Dana Holgorsen and this Nebraska offense. With Dylan Raiola's skill set, I don't see how Cincinnati's going to be able to overcome that. But very quietly, this is a program that year one probably underachieved, given what Luke Fickell had, left or how he left the program, I should say, with a 13-win season and a 9-win season. It has not been the best of situations for Cincinnati fans, but very quietly, if you look at it from a different standpoint and say you're starting at 0, you win 3 games your first and 5 games your second, well, a natural progression might put you to 7 or maybe 8 wins this year, especially when you don't play 3 of the toughest teams in the Big 12. Brendan Sorsby is back at one-time Indiana quarterback, by the way. He left before Curt Cignetti got there. But Sorsby, last year, nothing special. Not a lot of touchdowns, not a lot of volume. The Cincinnati offense could have a really difficult day if that Nebraska defense is able to overcome the loss of their defensive coordinator, and I think a couple other coaches as well, and go out and be successful like they were last year. When Nebraska at home, behind that fantastic fan base out there in Lincoln, played Colorado, they dominated them with defense. They had the pick 6 of Shedeur Sanders. They were absolutely mauling the Buffs offensive line. Now, that Colorado offensive line, as it was the year before, and Colorado fans are hoping won't be again this year, was horrifically awful. It was terrible. They couldn't block, and Nebraska was really good. Well, Brendan Sorsby is fine. He's got a completion percentage in the mid to high 60s. Last year he went for 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns to 7 picks. Fine. 18 touchdowns, not a huge number. That has to improve. But Cincinnati, quietly last year, they give up less than 25 points a game. They're respectable. On offense, you'd like to have a little bit more. You probably need to create a chunk play or two, but you're at home. You don't have the crowd on your side. You're not going to have to worry about an empty stadium because people don't have any belief in the team. It's week 1. Anybody can be a good team in college football. Who's going to be this year's Indiana that comes absolutely out of nowhere? I don't know. Maybe it's Cincinnati. We don't know until we play the game. But going on the road week 1, I think this is a slightly tougher game than Nebraska would like it to be. I do like the Cornhuskers to win, but I will take Cincinnati to cover. 28-24. Give me Nebraska to start the year 1-0. And if they lose, also keep an eye on this. I almost forgot to include this stat that I worked hard to find, and I almost just wasted my own time. Cincinnati last year, 1-4 in one-possession games. 1-4 in one-possession games. You just move that a little bit in the right direction, and Cincinnati's a bowl team this year. Now don't think of it as 2 years or a program that for the last 2 years hasn't made a bowl game. What if Cincinnati's a bowl team this year? Think about Nebraska going on the road week 1 against a Big 12 opponent that's a bowl team. That's how you should view this game. Nebraska should win. They are favored for a reason, 28-24. Give me the Cornhuskers. I'm excited to watch this one. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. And until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.